Now, how much value is there in what I'm telling you? How do I say that to you? Each one of you, can you hear this? Each one of you represents 100 million associations. When Jesus tries to express it in the Course, he has a particular problem with it. You don't realize how much your individual mind is actually affecting everything in the universe. I'm very much aware of it. See, I'm going to use you whether you're going to get it or not. Every time I address you in your own drama association, I'm doing a major repair in the whole universe. Jesus says to you, you don't realize when you do your own atonement how much you're really affecting. Everything within that total time framework, regardless of where it is, benefits from your reassociation at that time. Can you hear this? Not only that, but it's possible for any association that you've ever had to benefit totally from it if you can get enough insertion, this is what the Course in Miracles is, at a depth of where the chaos occurs. Jesus says you're affecting constellations, thousands of things. You have no idea of the power of your own mind, quite literally. I do, though. And I'm going to use it. And you say, well, I want to be a savior along with you. Come on. But you're going to have to use what? The power of your own mind. And certainly you're not going to do it if you think there's something outside of you that can harm you and cause you pain. Right? How could you? It's not a big deal being the savior of the world, but it's the biggest deal you'll ever do, because it's the only thing you have to do. Okay? I mean, the idea, if you care to look at it, and this is in chapter 29 and 30 and 31, the simplicity of salvation is incredible. All it says is what you think you're doing never happened. But still, you must do it in your own mind, right? Because you're the cause of it. See? Is it possible to love without judgment? No, not perceptually. But it's possible to bring all of your judgments into a whole association of yourself with what you are and create from that stance. Do you think that I can't tell the difference between what you constitute good and evil here? Of course I can. That's why I can teach you. Because I can show you that the difference doesn't matter. Because I still had in me when it did. And I demanded that I be given credit for the difference so that I could identify myself. And it won't work. So the miracle of the solution occurred at the turning of your will and your life over to God. This is the Course in Miracles. It's a 12-step program. All I really teach is turn your will and your life over to God. What did you think that this is? How could you fail if you did that? The problem you have is you keep taking it back. Okay? Turn it over. Now, the demonstration of the miracle that occurs at the time that you turn it over authenticates your determination that you weren't the cause of it. Okay? This is what all addictive programs teach. Okay? That by yourself you couldn't have done it. This is my whole teaching. You couldn't do it by yourself. Okay? Do you like the word surrender? Obviously, what I'm asking you to do is unconditionally surrender. Did you think I was doing something else? Huh? Do you think the Course in Miracles is anything but a course in unconditional surrender? It's what it is. And it means unconditional, because unconditional surrender is inherently unconditional love, because it removes the obstacles of the conflict that you refuse to surrender to. Is that demonstrated as a miracle? Hey, and it'll be so miraculous you can't believe it, because it occurred despite you, not because of you. And that's what the miracle is. Showing you that despite everything that you did, it worked, not because of you, but because you determined that you couldn't solve the problem. I want this on the tape because this is how I got this. Okay, I'm not teaching it necessarily the way that I got it, obviously. I used up all the alternatives. And I couldn't die again. So I was caught. I'm pressing you to use your alternatives without giving you the allowance to escape. If you can hear this, it'll really help you. It's just like you're in a vice. I'm pressing you to keep looking at your situation and use up the possibilities of succeeding in the limited goal. And at the same time, I'm taking away from you your escape hatch, which was death. And now you're caught in the terrible gap. You can't solve this problem and you can't die. Now you're in Gethsemane. This is the dark night of the soul. Everything you do does not solve the problem, yet there is no other solution that's available to you. Can you guys hear me when I do this? This is actually what's happening to you in your mind. Your solution has always been to avoid the problem. If I take your avoidance away, you're forced to look at the problem. This is exactly what the Course in Miracles is. Now, what are you going to do with it? You're going to have to undergo a change of your mind in regard to this. We used to call this the Hermetic philosophy. It's the bringing together and distillation of thought forms into a brighter association, because we plug up all of the manners in which you can escape. We used to call this the 12 gates of Jerusalem. And finally, you've got no other way of expressing yourself out, and you literally open your crown and it comes out the top of your head. That's the initiation process. Okay, you've resolved the conflict within your own mind. This is Course in Miracles. Will you do this? Sure. Are you doing it now? Sure. Does it make you happy? I don't know. But if you're unhappy with it, you'll go out and find happiness in your limited pursuits. They will then turn to rust and rot, and you'll have to look at them again. And you'll keep doing that. Why? Because it's in the power of your mind to do that, isn't it? And that's what you're going to do. Until you finally say to me, I have no need of this. Okay? And I'll say, good. You have no need of this. I don't need to get sick anymore to get the sympathy that I think I'm entitled to. I need some attention. After all, I should be entitled to. I've been unjustly treated long enough. I've given, 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 and got nothing back. I'm going to stop doing that now. I tried giving and it didn't work. It worked perfectly. Can you give without expectation of return? Can you understand there's no such thing as exchange? This is all sentences from the Course. Can you get a hold of the idea that you only give to yourself? You projected it out there, right? It's a thought in your own mind. Who are you giving to except yourself? Why do you limit your own self? Why don't you just simply give yourself everything? You say to me, well, if I gave it all away, I wouldn't have anything left. And I say, that's crap. You'd have everything immediately. Because the process of giving away is how you know you got it. And until you give it away, you can't possibly know that you have it. How do you know you have anything until you give it away? You hold it as a thought form in your own mind and store it up in here and pretend you're going to use it later on. That's absurd. Okay, the bank goes busted and you've got nothing. You just lost it. I don't know how you stand it. You keep laying up the security that's necessary, but until you use it, you can't know you've got it. That's the parable of hiding the shekel. The three brothers, and one hides it and the other gives a little away, and the other guy just gives it all away. And God comes back and says, that's the way you do it. You got to give it away to know you have it. Don't light you're hiding your light under a bushel. I wouldn't dare give it all away. Well, then don't expect to create, because creating is only giving, and God only gives. He doesn't know anything else because there isn't anything else. Okay? Is everything I'm telling you true? Yeah. Does everybody know this about this? Sure. Does everyone in the whole universe know about heaven and God and all the things that I'm telling you? Yeah. Go on. Why? That's the condition of reality. Well, how come nobody here knows it? Because you created them in your own mind to share your own disillusionment, share your own denial of it. Okay? Everybody got that? I'm going to stop doing it now. I want to be sure you understand what the Course in Miracles says. That's what it says. That this is your world, okay? That you've created it in your own dream. And if you want to let those things out there influence you in regard to what they are, if you want to be at the mercy of the things that are going around, out around you, you're perfectly capable of doing it. You might even like it. That way you can get somebody else to tell you how you are. Okay? And if that doesn't seem crazy to you, I don't know. How could they possibly tell you what they are, what you are? Can they judge you? Can you judge them? No. So that's your relief. Is this the new you that's emerging in this new idea? Sure. Will this take a little time to settle in with you? The reason I'm giving you a hard message is you have a tendency to float into your energies around here. You guys have got so much contact with whatever you do out here with masters and energy and all that, and you can't get it the way you've been doing it. Because they're forcing you into an identity. You see, I'm trying to give you all of you to transcend that. I don't care how you identify me, it won't be true until you see me as whole, and at that time you'll be whole. Yes?
I didn't want it. Why do I do it?
You do want it. You cherish death because all the things that you love are connected to it. That's not too tough for you if you want to look at it. Otherwise, why is everything you love dies? You say, I don't want them to die, then they won't. But neither can you, because you're the constructor of them. So the necessity is to make the declaration, I can't die, then neither can the things that you create. Why? Everything creates unto itself. And if you formulated yourself in your genetic association to teach something to be separate, that's precisely what you did with your children, and so did I. So we taught them the autonomy of self-expression, taught them how to cope with sickness and death. Why? Because we come from that genetic association. You'll always reflect to your creations what you are. This has to be true. What I'm telling you is what you are is unstable. So you end up in difficulties with your own offsprings, obviously, because you've introduced judgment into them. Physician, heal thyself. I mean, the teaching is for you to come, the only teaching of the Course is for you to come to know who you are, right? Do you know who you are? But certainly if you know who you are, you're eternal, because the condition of knowing who you are is what eternity is. Okay? Is it difficult? I'll do this for you. Jesus says, it's difficult for you to see that sickness is a choice. And yet I must admonish you that everything is your choice. And it's directly connected to the statement that you never do things for the reason that you think you do. You've always got the association of your previous identities and your attempts to be contained within your own mind. Nobody can take that away from you. Not only that, but you can always find verification for it. Can't you? If you can't find, you created the verification for it in order to keep your own identity, didn't you? Will they bring you back the answers that you want to hear? What the hell other answers would they bring you back? You constructed them to tell you what you want to hear, didn't you? Remember where Jesus says in the Course, you send out all of these thoughts to bring you back what you want to hear to confirm yourself in your own associations, don't you? Okay? How do you get out of this? Change your mind about what you want to hear.
being love, is also happiness. Happiness is an attribute of love. It cannot be apart from it. Nor can it be experienced where love is not. Love has no limits, being everywhere. And therefore joy is everywhere as well. And yet the mind denies that this is so, believing there are gaps in love where sin can enter, bringing pain instead of joy. This strange belief would limit happiness by redefining love as limited and introducing opposition in what has no limit and no opposite. Fear is associated then with love, and its result become the heritage of minds that think what they have made is real. These images with no reality in truth bear witness to the fear of God. Forgetting being love, he must be joy. This basic error we will try again to bring to truth today and teach ourselves. God being love is also happiness. To fear him is to be afraid of joy. Begin your periods of practicing today with this association, which corrects the false belief that God is fear. It also emphasizes happiness belongs to you because of what he is. Allow this one correction to be placed within your mind each waking hour today. Then welcome all the happiness it brings as truth replaces fear. And joy becomes what you expect to take the place of pain. God being love, it will be given you. Bolster this expectation frequently throughout the day and in all your fears with this assurance, kind and wholly true. God being love is also happiness, and it is happiness I seek today. I cannot fail because I seek the truth. So hi, welcome. Welcome to the Miracle Mind. And we got started in a different way, but it's always different anyway. Doing a little thing here. So So great to start like this. Oh my God. Wow. Thank you so much for joining today. That's so lovely. So it starts very, very gentle in a certain way. It's great how it's like it comes to you in a way today, in a way that you can receive it. And it's like, wow, it's so brand new. Wow. I can't believe that. It's always so brand new. So here's your giving up of yesterday or your ideas about a moment ago. And here's the new moment. It's like being born in you. Fresh and new. It's right here, right now. I'm like, I have no idea how this goes, how you do this. Yeah, it was so great. I love it. So in the same time as it is being shared, you're affecting the universe, like on an immense scale. For instance, by you receiving healing or your remembrance of connectedness with the universe literally shakes up the whole universe. Literally shakes up ones that you never met, for instance. It's like you see this in lesson 156 or so. It's like, when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. This is literally true. It's like it affects so many because there's only one thing going on. And you're a whole part of this universe. Like you create with it, not against it or anything. It's like, no, if you think you can do anything against it, you're not doing anything. So the recognition of creation is really that you're part of it. Otherwise, nothing happens. You might think you're separate or something, or you might think that you're on the dark side, or who knows what excites you at that point. But there's absolutely nothing happening because the universe doesn't recognize it. So that's so lovely about this. It's like when you co-create, you could say, you're automatically happy and joyous. You recognize yourself to be connected. You feel the flow of energy through you. And there's no fear connected to it whatsoever. There's no fear or hesitation or doubt or, none of this. So in our endeavor to discover all this, you can experience fear. That happens. That's perfectly all right. But it's not going to be your guiding light. Or it's not going to be, say, a part of you. No, you recognize the feeling, but you allow it to change. You stay with it instead of walking away from it. You stay with it for just a moment and allow it to change. Allow it to just be there, in fact. But at the same time, say, opening your consciousness for a different experience, an experience that goes beyond that fear, and say, experience the connectedness, or however you want to express that. But that's a very subtle change. Like you could feel it after when I started sharing this with you. There's a moment that I have no idea what to do, that it's completely blank, and that can, say, stir up a little bit of fear or who knows what feeling. But then you stay with it and just trust what comes through you, what comes to you. And then something happens. And you feel that it starts to flow again, and that you sink deeper into your quietness, you could say. And whatever needs to happen after that will just be given. Like you can totally trust that. That's the beauty of it. And it will communicate. Because you did not make it up. You literally did not know what to say or what the next step would be. But by letting that occur, in fact, you you die daily. You die in your humanhood, because now you can make something up like you are used to as a human being. You try to fill the gaps, the perceived gaps that aren't there though. So you try to fill those in with who knows what. You associate in your thinking into something that might be useful in the moment because of a past experience. So in other words, you bring in a past idea to fill up the gaps, and there's no necessity to do that. In fact, it's not thinking. It has nothing to do with anything. So here we are, sitting in front of each other, recognizing that something else is going on that has nothing to do with our judgment or perception or what happened yesterday. Like completely free to be itself. And breathing in that, like relaxing in that. Like, yeah, why not? Let it be different. So what? No. All right. Great. So Master Teacher shares some of these ideas in his talk, which is a really precious, beautiful part of the talk. Is my experience with it. It's like, wow, it's so beautifully given, so lovely, affecting everything in the universe. How much value is there in what I'm telling you? Each one of you, can you hear this, represents 100 million associations. When Jesus tries to express it in the Course, he has a particular problem with it. You don't realize how much your individual mind is actually affecting everything in the universe. I'm very much aware of it. I'm going to use you whether you're going to get it or not. Every time I address you in your own drama association, I'm doing a major repair in the whole universe. See, every time I address you in your own dream association, I'm doing a major repair in the whole universe. Jesus says to you, you don't realize when you do your own atonement how much you're really affecting everything within that total time framework, regardless of where it is, benefits from your reassociation at that time. Can you hear this? Everything within that total time framework, regardless of where it is, benefits from your reassociation at that time. So to reassociate with what? With the truth of who you are. It's like coming into an experience of the truth of who you are. Releasing your self-identity. No matter where you find yourself in your time framework, regardless of where you find yourself in space, this is the happening, where so much is happening, you could say. It's like the whole universe benefits from your reassociation. But not only that, but it is possible for any association that you've ever had to benefit totally from it. If you can get enough insertion, that's what A Course in Miracles is, at the depth of where the chaos occurs. Jesus says, you're affecting constellations, thousands of things out. You have no idea of the power of your mind, quite literally. And you forget about that all the time. Like to start with this part, it is like you forget about how you affect the whole universe. It's like even in your dream, you see this back too. It's like you're actually determining what's going on during your day. You make decisions about how things will be, what people are going to tell you, how their responses will be, how everything seems to be going on is going on. Because this is a representation, this is your hologram. You literally designed it and are the director of it. Now, in your illusion, it is as true as it is in reality. Only, there's a difference, of course. Like in your, in your dream, in your illusion of yourself, you create things, so to speak, that make you afraid. You're literally making yourself afraid. You're literally making yourself sick. You're making yourself, whatever the feeling is. It's like you literally are doing this to yourself. And this is specifically, it's like where the atonement takes place. If you recognize that and release yourself at that point, at that occurrence, then something happens. It's like if you dare to admit that you're doing this to yourself, you also have no motivation to attack anyone anymore. If that really sinks into your memory package, you could say. So that is so great about this, what is being shared today. It's like realizing that you're affecting everything continuously with your ideas about it, with what you want, with your desires, with your free will, with your decision to join or not to join, to dissociate or to completely get into the connection, to release yourself or to establish yourself. You know, these movements are continuously going on. Am I establishing myself or am I releasing myself? Am I judging? Am I releasing my judgment? Am I forgiving? Or am I judging? Like it is continuously going on. So here you see you affect. So we saw this the other day too with the miracle principles. It's like, or this is in the beginning lessons too. One creates the physical and the other creates the spiritual. Like your true thoughts that are actually thoughts create the spiritual. Your not thoughts as a no thing create the physical. And see, that's an immense discovery, of course. Like that's such an immense discovery. It takes a moment to really get into it, and to admit to it is quite something. Because then suddenly you cannot find anything in this world that you could want, recognizing it originated from you in the first place, and giving up that you want something from something that is literally over, that you literally brought in yourself. It's like it brings you back to the core of you, the core of your being, by staying right there and say, letting all the habits be undone. I'm calling them habits because it's like the tendencies, I could say too. It's like that all the human tendencies to interact with what is over, to release all those. So where do you need to go for that? Nowhere. What do you need to have for that? Nothing. What do you need to, all of these things. So that's why it's so great that we come together, that we meet in this place, like in this way, perfectly well. It's like no problem, whether it's online or not, or directly. Like it really doesn't matter. This has everything to do with you accepting the basic premise first of you're affecting the whole universe, no matter what you are thinking. And you're the cause of your world, of your dream, of your whatever seems to be going on. You are the one. This is all about you, you could say. It has nothing to do with anyone else, and you don't have to delay any time in thinking so anymore. So in the talk of Master Teacher you could hear too, and that is this, is like, no, you want this limited association. You want this dream of death. That's why it is there. You want that. You have to admit that you actually want it. Not to stay with that, no, but to recognize first that you want it. Otherwise you get something like, I have no idea, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I want this pain? Why do I want this and that? It's like, well, there is a reason for that. It is actually that you want that because you are going to be established in your limitation. Apparently that is something that you're looking for, or that you habitually fall back into all the time. Now you can come out of it. Realizing that you do that, you can come out of it. Your admission that you wanted that doesn't just happen to you, but it's your desire for that's the reason why it happens, makes it that you can release it. So this is really like what we're talking about. Now when you come to that place, right, Master Teacher and Jesus calls it the place of atonement. When you come to that place of atonement, where you allow this change to occur, where you admit to yourself, oh my God, I'm literally addicted to death, or I'm such a mortalholic, or however you're going to call yourself, I don't care, not to establish yourself in that again, or identify with it as, well, I can't help it, I'm a mortalholic. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying either. So in the place of atonement is recognizing that you are one with all of it, and that you are, say, a whole part of the universe and love to create. But, say, through the creation is coming through you in alignment with the will of God. It's like it's going to be given to you. You don't have to check this out. Now, when you allow the healing to occur to you, you are actually doing something because you're releasing yourself. So this is what Master Teacher calls the repair work. It's like there's a lot of repair work going on. Being, say, in fact, pushed into your chaos, into your conflict, by being pushed in a little deeper, you become aware of the pain that is related to it. Now, this is a beautiful point to release it. So in that release, you're actually, say, allowing a change, allowing something to happen that is setting everyone free, not just you. Because you are connected, and your connection makes it that you either bind or set free. So that's another one of those. You either bind or you set free. The release is setting free. The contraction, fear, is the binding. Is you bind it, you hold it, you imprison it, you contract. So this works on all levels. So this is so amazing to see this. It's like whatever you give as a description of your situation, the release of your idea about it sets the situation free. You don't have to hold on to it. And this works with practical things. This works with everything, in fact, because you learn your lessons in the place where you can learn them. It is not a place where you can't learn them, because then it's like, no, you can say that the curriculum is made in such a way that you are being offered situations, not as a test, but as as a fine-tuned way to help help to release yourself. And with specific situations, specific persons, specific circumstances, just for that. Like there's a perfect plan behind appearances. It says it in the Course too. Like there's a perfect plan behind appearances. And it works so well that you can't believe it. So you really think it's a coincidence that you get yourself into certain situations or that you meet random people. Well, like, there's nothing random about this. And you can express it in other ways, like it's or totally random, like all of it is totally random or not random at all. So then we cover the duality element in it too. So you don't have to prove to yourself either way. So yeah, this is where we're dealing with today, which is really lovely. It's like it's the crux of awakening, always coming back to that place. So allowing yourself to undergo this atonement is in fact reconnecting with what is already connected. Reconnecting with the communication. Any other place is not communication. So that means it is nothing. Because when it communicates, it is connected. It is, say, literally one. If it isn't one, it is not communicating. And so the whole, say, principle of the universe is communication, oneness, equality, unity, like complete connectedness. As soon as that seems to not be, that means it isn't. Now this is great. The lifting of the veil. Forget not that you came this far together. See, you cannot get that by yourself. That's what we heard this morning too. It's like, you cannot get that by yourself. So forget not that you came this far together. And it was surely not the ego that led you here. No obstacle to peace can be surmounted through its help. It does not open up its secrets and bid you to look at them and go beyond them. It would not have you seek its weakness and learn it has no power to keep you from the truth. The guide who brought you here remains with you, and when you raise your eyes, you will be ready to look on terror with no fear at all. But first lift up your eyes and look upon each other in innocence, born of complete forgiveness of each other's illusions, and through the eyes of faith, which see them not. You know, so this is what we're talking about. In fact, this is like a veil over the truth. Now I'm going to get out of this. So it's like a veil over the truth. Now you can say, like, you recognize the truth. So we're talking atonement here, really. It's like you recognize the truth, but there are some veils over it. Very, very deep level veils, you could say. Drapes, almost like drapes. It's like it's very deeply into your thought system, where you have some desire, some hope, some wish, and they prevent you from completely entering into this atonement. At least that's what you think for a moment. Now, and this, to get to these deep places inside yourself, it helps, of course, to quiet down, to allow this to come up. Like, you don't have to look for it. It is not that you have to dig deep to get to them. They will spontaneously occur to you. And this is also important to know. Like, don't try to force anything in this, because that's not how this works. So it's spontaneously given, you could say, to look upon things. But when it occurs, then don't reject it. Then let it come up. Like, there can be really deep things that are very first, like, scary to look at, but it's really worth it, because they show you something that is so out of line with your human tendencies, that is so out of line with it. It is so different then your human social behavior, you could say, or social wishes or social expectations and all of this, it's like it has nothing to do with this world. And since your world is still like based on social interaction, on dream ideas, future possibilities, or who knows what, like to bring that back to this place where you actually allow the veil to be lifted. Now this happens spontaneously in a certain sense, because we're actually, say, diving now a layer deeper in what is being shared already with, say, recognizing how much you are affecting the universe. So to come then to the place where you actually feel what is going on, this is essential, because you're going to touch these places, or to, say, see these places instead of rejecting them, even though they first were very unacceptable to you. Yeah, so you have your own specific ones. I have my own specific ones, and that is, it is not a secret. It is more like, no, it doesn't really matter. The thing that happens here is, and you just read that too, is like you have come to the place where actually you are not afraid to take an honest look at them and see that they actually have no power, that they were just an idea, that all the, habitual tendencies are washed away out of it. So actually you become ready for an experience of the atonement in that. You actually are able to come to see beyond the veil. And that is so lovely. And this is being shared as the initiation, as Master Teacher said in the talk in the beginning. It's like it's the initiation. So this is really beyond your human, recognition of yourself, your human identity. This is beyond the self that you have created as an establishment, as a defense against the truth, with all its limitations. So in other words, it is like the 0 point where the healing takes place. You're not afraid anymore to look upon it. When you look on the ideas that you were using to protect yourself against the truth and see them dissolve, you could say, now the truth can come to you and you can experience that. Now this is really the atonement principle. It's like the undoing of what never was, the undoing of fear, the undoing of that little bit that you thought you needed to protect. I love that. So this is experiential, of course, to let that happen. It's like it occurred to me just a minute ago, like when we were listening to Master Teacher. So it's like the feeling that is connected to it is of such a comforting nature that it literally brings you back home. So you allow yourself to be undone. You die. Yeah, this is the practice of dying daily, if we want to give it a biblical term. I don't care. So it's like that's exactly where that takes place. It is bringing you home. So it's like the result of it is something so familiar to you that you don't know what to do with yourself. But it brings you completely here and recognizes you like, yes, I'm the dreamer of this. Oh my God, I was actually using these little ideas of, these were just ideas against the truth for just a moment. And now I can release them and come into a whole different experience of myself, where there's complete loveliness and innocence. It's literally like that. It's like all the snow suddenly melts and whoosh, just by all this sunlight, this beautiful sunlight. So here's part 3. It is impossible that anyone be healed alone. In sickness he must be apart and separate, but healing is his own decision to be one again, and to accept his self with all its parts intact and unassailed. In sickness does his self appear to be dismembered, and without the unity which gives it life. But healing is accomplished as he sees the body has no power to attack the universal oneness of God's Son. Sickness would prove that lies must be the truth, but healing demonstrates that truth is true. And as here in L10, and as you let yourself be healed, you see all those around you, or who cross your mind, or whom you touch, or those who seem to have no contact with you, healed along with you. Perhaps you will not recognize them all, nor realize how great your offering to all the world when you let healing come to you. But you are never healed alone, and legions upon legions upon legions will receive the gift which you received when you are healed. Those who are healed become the instruments of healing. Nor does time elapse between the instant they are healed and all the grace of healing it is given them to give. What is opposed to God does not exist, and who accepts it not within his mind becomes a haven where the weary can remain to rest. For here is truth bestowed, and here are all illusions brought to truth. Well, that's a beautiful atonement expression. It's so lovely. So thank you so much for joining today in this Miracle Mind meeting. Can you hear this? Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.